This is an Ender 5 Plus. This is a large format printer. Do I recommend buying one? No. I'll lead you on a story because this has been quite the journey. I ordered this sometime in April or May. It arrived in early June. A couple of prints, none of the prints looked good, but I was able to get a couple prints out of it. The extruder was slipping a lot, and I ended up replacing it with a Creality direct drive unit. It worked a little bit better, but I was still having problems, mainly under extrusion. Hindsight being 2020, I think I would have strengthened the spring tension a little bit on it, but I ended up going with this Bondtech unit. The Bondtech unit looks like a fantastic made unit. I've not gotten a print out with this yet, and I'll lead into it. It's not the Bondtech extruder's fault. Wiring it up to the control board, we went through several iterations trying to get the wiring right. I think in the process of doing that, we compromised the control board that came with this Ender 5. It took a while to figure that one out. I ended up getting a link from my contact at Bondtech to the silent board. I put the silent board in here and wired everything up. It wouldn't home. I couldn't get it to do any of the things I wanted. It looked like some axes were backward, and you know, I couldn't do anything with it. So I downloaded the software from TH3D, and in the process of that, they directed me to order up the screen. The screen arrived and the install went fine. Contacted TH3D, and they explained I have to turn a couple cables backward and cut the keys off. That worked. I haven't got a printout of this thing yet. I am buying more parts from TH3D in hopes that I get some support from them. If the printer breaks, you have internet forums and your skills to make it work again. This is my third printer. I wouldn't say I'm good at printers. I get them running, and they do make good prints. This thing is a large printer. It's hard to move across the room. It's hard to take somewhere. It's the pandemic right now, so there's no place that you can take these things that someone will work on them. So you have to do all the troubleshooting yourself. Just to move this thing across the room to my desktop printer, I have it on this heavy cart, and it takes a lot of effort to move it over so I can put a USB cord and reprogram it. Now, I do have the Arduino IDE, and I do have the ability to download the program into this thing. I've done so a few times. Things have gotten better, and I'll show you in later clips what it's doing. What it appears to me is the BL Touch and the control board aren't talking to each other when they should be. And I believe the only solution I have is to buy an aftermarket bed leveling kit and work with the support I get when I buy that device. So, would I buy an Ender 5? Again, yes I would. Would I buy this Bondtech, this is a Wham Bam Flex Plate. I thought this was a good acquisition. I like the flexible build plate on my Prusa. What do I have intended to print on this? They're very large but flat parts, and I needed a large bed to get all the parts on one bed. I don't need a tall printer, but that's how they come. This will print approximately 3 times the amount of bed space that my Prusa MK3, and that's what I needed, was a larger bed space. I like the XY coordinate system, or the cross member coordinate system, and the fact that the bed only goes up and down and it doesn't move back and forth. Some of my prints were failing simply because the bed was going back and forth and dragging across the head. That may still happen, I just think it's less of a problem. So, purchased in April or May, received in June, we are now at September 15th. And I've got maybe 5 prints off this thing, and they were really, really bad prints. We'll see how it goes from here. All right, I'm going to turn on my Ender 5. The BL Touch cycles. That's great. You get great confidence when you see that happen, that things are going to work. Alright, so I'll turn on the Ender 5 and the BL Touch cycles. At this point you think you've got a fantastic, everything's working right. Then you do a auto home by the menu. It brings the bed down, moves over, does the x-axis, and then the y-axis 0, comes out to the center, bed goes down, bed comes back up, and that's just not what you want to see right there. It's a horrible sound. It appears that the BL Touch is not engaging once the auto home function is sent, and I'm not sure what to do from this point other than replace the BL Touch with a different type of bed sensor. You can hear that the BL Touch cycled. It went down, it went up. Sounds great. It says right here, TH3D Blue Touch ready. That's great. Menus work. I can hit this. I'll go down here. I'll say auto home. Sounds great. And the stepper motors, they don't make a lot of noise. It's going back to it's done the X and Y. That's great. It's hard to see, and I'll zoom in on it, but it's just going to crash right into the head. And it just sounds horrible. So this is what you don't want to have happen, and this is the reason I'm making this video. So what I do, let's see, make sure I get it in frame here, is I turn these to get it to come down in a way. I try to turn them together. It's not desired. Alright, so I'll turn it back on again, and I'll go through some of the menu items, see if I can kind of zoom in on that here. I don't know if you can see that. It looks really bright on the screen, but it might be able to. So I like the menus. Let's go down to control. Let's go down to BL Touch. Now I'm going to do a command reset. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't cycle. Alright, I'm going to go to self-test. I don't know that it's doing anything. I'll go to deploy. I can't hear it doing anything. I'll go to stow. I'll go to SW mode. There's just really nothing. It doesn't seem to know that the blue touch is there. I've gone into the code and actually decommented the thing that says BL touch. What are my lessons at this point? Okay, what are my lessons? Let's say you needed a printer. Would I buy the Ender 5 Plus? I think I would. I needed a very large print area for not large prints, but prints that cover a large area. I didn't need a printer that was this tall. But when you get a large print area, they also make the height. I also like it that the bed doesn't move side to side. So if you have a 3D print, it doesn't dislodge itself because it's moving all the time. I like the direct drive because I print a lot of TPU, a flexible filament, and that works better with a direct drive. This printer out of the box does not work well, but be cautious of what improvements you try to make to it. Wham Bam plate, that seems like a really good idea. Direct drive, I think if you want to print flexible filaments, you're going to have to go this route. I bought this Bondtech extruder. It looks like a great extruder. It looks fantastic. The fact that I haven't printed anything with it is not the extruder's fault. BL Touch, if it worked, it'd be great. I think I'm going to go to the Easy Able model, mainly because I can count on TH3D to provide some support if I buy their components. So the problem with a printer such as the Ender 5 or Creality is that if you start to make upgrades to it, you're not going to get any support on any problems that you have. So I don't want everybody to be in the same boat as they bought a printer in April, May, and in September they still haven't printed anything on it. That would be undesirable. That's good for right now.
Smokeless Chimney, warm homes and clean air for everyone. www.smokelesschimney.com